Leafs Nation, the trade deadline has come and gone, and other than one minor move, there was no real trades for the Leafs today, as the biggest thing was their signing. And as you can tell by the title and when you clicked in the video, the Leafs have re-signed Jake Muzzin to a 4-year, $22.5 million contract, all right? So from there, we're going to talk about that mostly, and we'll touch on the trade that happened a little bit earlier, a little bit later on. Now, let's start with this Jake Muzzin signing. It's a 4-year contract. Jake Muzzin, just like a few days ago, on the 21st, turned 31 years of age. So the 4-year deal will take him to when he's 35 years old, obviously. And how do you guys feel about that? I'm going to leave it right there for you. How do you guys feel about the signing? I personally really like the signing. Obviously, it's about 625 is the annual money for Jake Muzzin. And really what we've seen over the last little while is kind of a big reason of why I like Jake Muzzin and why I love having the guy around. It's just for this reason. He's definitely a leader. I mean, you saw what happened in that Pittsburgh game, both Pittsburgh games. The one game, they bashed the team afterwards and came out and played his best game of the year. And the next one, we obviously know what happened in Carolina on the Saturday night, but we're not even going to talk about that because that was awful. But Jake Muzzin overall, he brings the physical presence. He's got a nice shot from the point. Overall, he's a pretty sound defensive player. Now, skating-wise, obviously he's not the quickest guy out there, so you maybe run into that issue as the years go along. But the fact that you got him signed for 4 years at 5.625, I think it's a good signing for the Leafs. I mean, if anybody says no, you're crazy, because are you really going to let Barrie and Muzzin both walk at the end of the year and then literally have nothing left? But people will hate it. You know why? Because Kyle Dubas made it happen. Same with the Jays and when Shapiro and Atkins do anything. And I just wish that we could just give it a shot. But, you know what I mean, guys? It's just this, guys. We don't know what this team is. You know, we can sit here and say that they're awful. And they have been for quite a while now. And me being some stupid Leaf fan that I am sitting here and trying to stay optimistic. I'm trying to stay optimistic about it all. Because now that the trade deadline is over and Barrie's name is gone from the whole trade talks, and he'll probably walk at the end of the year, but you'll get there when you get there. You know, and for guys like Alex Kerfoot who was in there, and really there was no sort of clarity about who was staying and who was going. There was some, obviously, Sperry Kapanen was kind of the main guy that could have been moved for anything big. Didn't happen, obviously. So I think now, and I'm hoping now, that there's some sort of clarity. This is the team you're going the rest of the way with. Maybe they go out there and play. I don't know. You know, and for anybody going to get mad at Kyle Lewis for not making a trade today, the question I have for you is, what deal would you have made? And don't give me the whole, oh, well, I would have traded for this guy. Or I would have traded for Vatanen. Or I would have traded for Matt Dumba. Or Jonas Brodin. Trust me, I would have loved a Jonas Brodin on this team. But at what cost? You don't have a first-round pick. Are you willing to trade a Kapanen? And if people say yes, think about it. And tell me, are you willing to trade Kasperi Kapanen for Jonas Brodin? And a lot of people are going to say, I don't know. And that's the thing. You got to be certain about a trade before you make the damn trade. So clearly there was nothing real set in stone, nothing clear cut for the Leafs to make a move today, other than trading Michael Hutchinson to the Colorado Avalanche. And in return, the Leafs, they get Calle Rosen back. He was one of the pieces traded to Colorado in the Barrie and Kerfoot trade. Kadri and Rosen were the pieces fired back to Colorado. So the Leafs get Calle Rosen back, but really there's nothing crazy. Let's go back a little bit to the Muzzin thing. Because back when this trade happened for this team, just over a year ago now, everyone assumed that Jake Muzzin would not be a Leaf past July 1st this upcoming year, or even the trade deadline, depending on where this team was. Jake Muzzin has turned into something that the Leaf fans love. And that is a guy who can hit, a guy who can play some defense, and has a pretty good point shot. And we haven't really seen that in quite a while, you know? And I mean, look, I like Jake Muzzin. He's a 6'3 defender. Obviously, the left shot defenseman had 22 points in 52 games so far this year. He leads the Leafs in hits and block shots. Tells you big things about Jake Muzzin. And he's second on the team, averaging 21 minutes and 43 seconds a game. Probably second behind, I'm going to guess Morgan Riley when he's healthy. That's just my opinion there. What this does now for Muzzin and for the Leafs it gives you some sort of clarity of who you're going to have next year. You know you're going to have Muzzin. You know you're going to have Morgan Riley. Heck, you know you're going to have Dermott and Rasmus Sandin. Those are guys for sure that you know about. Whether you like them or not, those are guys that are in their top 6 right now that are still here. Martin Marinson's a guy that you guys know my opinion on him, and I don't like him really at all. And Cody Cece's probably going to be gone at the end of the season, and same with Tyson Barrie. So we don't know what's going to happen with this team moving forward. However, what you do know is that you have a guy like Jake Muzzin. If I'm not mistaken, he's a Toronto boy as well. He's from Woodstock, Ontario. He wants to be here. With all the kerfuffle and garbage going around this team right now, Jake Muzzin just re-signed for a 4-year contract, basically to end his career here. It tells you what he wants. And it tells you what the Leafs wanted. Jake Muzzin is a big part of this hockey team. The question is now, how will the season end? And that's an answer that I don't have. And that's an answer nobody has. Anybody's going to sit here and say they're not going to make the playoffs. They're terrible. Oh, they're going to fall out. They're going to get a lottery pick. But, I mean, you hear all the negative stuff all the time, people. Leafs Nation, I love you dearly, but it's full of negativity. They win 3 in a row, they lose 1. Oh, here they go, down the tube, here they go, right? You hear it all the time. And I'm trying to sit here and try and grab some sort of positive spin on this, because otherwise we're all going to go crazy. If we haven't already. Because if you've watched what? The Pittsburgh video and the Carolina video, I've pretty much gone insane. So I'm trying to cool this down a bit and trying to bring it kind of a positive swing to things. And if the Leafs go out there against Tampa and Florida and throw up goose eggs, well, so much for that positivity. You got Muzzin re-signed. That's a big thing heading into the offseason and heading into next year and ideally the next 4 years. Everybody knows on this roster now that a deal is done. The trade deadline is over. These are the guys you're finishing the year with. Go out there, give it your all for this team, and let's see what happens. Do you make the playoffs? Well, I don't know. And a lot of people are going to say, no, they're not. Well, that's okay. You say what you want to say. That's fine. But we don't know, and you do not know if the Leafs are making the playoffs or not. Heck, after this trade deadline, the Leafs could go on an absolute tear because there's no worry of getting moved. That whole thing we've all heard it. I mean, if any of you guys are hardcore fans, you all know the whole, it's not really in their heads that they might get moved or things might happen. It always is. You've seen it many times before about after a trade deadline, teams turn things around because this happens, because things happen. And then when they're not going to happen and you know the guys you're with, they relax and they play their game. And I'm hoping and praying, because that's all we can do right now, is that is what happens. The big test for this team is tomorrow against Tampa in Tampa. Now, for me, and I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I look at the next, 6 games or so. That is my kind of realm for this team of, okay, you show me what you are. The reason I say that is because your next 3 games are against very good opponents in Tampa, Florida, and Vancouver, which I will actually be at that game against Vancouver on the Saturday night. And then after that, you hit the West Coast trip. You get San Jose, Anaheim, and LA. Well, that trip is not as daunting as it once was. All 3 teams were sellers this year. All 3 teams are bad. After that 6-game stretch of 3 really good teams and 3 really bad teams, if this Leaf squad has not figured it out and gotten wins and gotten themselves, I wouldn't say comfortable in a playoff spot, but at least half decently in a playoff spot, then we might start to get worried at that point. Because then you got Tampa again, then you got Nashville, then you got Boston in Boston, and things just don't get easy the rest of the way. This team has to find a way to get points and get wins, whatever it takes. You're down in Tampa tomorrow. Heck, if you win in overtime, I don't care. If they had to score an own goal for us to win, I don't care. Let's just see what happens, guys. I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive, but if this team doesn't help us out, I can only do so much. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you liked the Jake Muzzin signing, smack the like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below if that's on the signing for Jake Muzzin. the mini trade, if you have any comment on that, which, I mean, I don't blame you if you don't. Give me your idea about the Jake Muzzin signing. Too much money, too little money, too many years, not enough years. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were in the comments below. Twitter is down below for myself. Follow, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. Also, the Patreon link is down below, so guys, sign up for that if you guys are interested. And I will talk to you guys Raptors edition tomorrow as they welcome. Look, both Leafs and Raptors got some crazy games going on tomorrow. Raptors against Milwaukee at Scotiabank Arena, 7:30 tip-off there in one of the most highly anticipated games of the season. That's going to be a lot of fun there tomorrow. And like I said, as for the Leafs, they take on the Tampa Bay Lightning in Tampa. Anderson, Vasilevsky are the expected goaltenders there. 7 o'clock puck drop. As I've said before, the Lightning, yes, they've lost 2 straight games, but they have been basically unbeatable other than those 2 games over the past, 20-odd, 30 games in that range somewhere. They have been killing everybody in their path. And if the Leafs go there to Tampa and make a statement, maybe might turn some heads for the people. But then again, we thought that against Pittsburgh. So, one game at a time, 7 o'clock puck drop tomorrow night in Tampa as the Leafs take on the Lightning. Anderson and Vasilevsky get the nod. 7 o'clock puck drop there. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Talk to you guys then.